This is going to be so awesome. Click over here. Get the right click, Doug. That one. Click over
Let's
here.
see.
Get the right
There we
click,
go.
Doug. That one. That gives me an audio confirmation. Tony says AVDVR good. Yeah, oh, I know. Instead of putting the watch on the table, I'm going to turn off Bluetooth. And that'll let me get notified of text messages better. And there's Bluetooth, turn that off. Okay, good morning. It's 11:02 a.m., November 5th, 2022. And today's multiple topic seed description for this live stream. So I got like, I think 11 items in the description of this video now. I've kind of been adding some more as I've been preparing to start the show. Yeah, 11 of them. And I think we'll just go right to bring, oh, I didn't even bring my cup. Oh no, I don't have my cup. My homie's cup. Oh well. I'm going to bring up the Zoom because there are 2 people in Zoom at this point and see if they'll unmute themselves and say hello. Right now they're muted so I could do my morning spiel. And I've done that. It's over with. And I also have me an extra button to push every time because I have the preview window open and figured I need to do that regular so I can practice. So there's Ken Stout. Hello, Ken.
Morning, Doug. Morning, Winter Mute.
I see you're feeling more opaque now.
Yeah, well, I have my coffee.
Oh, is that what did it? When Ken first came into Zoom, he was kind of a ghostly image. Hello, Wintermute.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Good to see you. Somehow your voice sounds very much like your profile picture there in Zoom.
Hey, take that as a compliment, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I think maybe
think
his voice should sound more like a girly man to me.
oh,
He got the joke. That's good.
Yeah, a little Arnold there. Yeah, I got it. And
Oh, look,
hello,
we have
Jim.
Jim's arm. Hi, Jim's arm.
Yeah.
I'll shut up.
Including a freckle. Now we know how to identify Jim. We know where that freckle is on his right arm.
There you go.
How are you, Jim?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Tired, but I'm all right.
What is your shirt promoting today?
Oh, the shirt says the opposite of live and learn is die an idiot.
Okay. Opposite of live and learn is die an idiot. Yeah, all right. I'll take that. Let's say hello to some people in chat. I'm going to pop out chat and bring you folks up on the screen. We've been interacting with chat here for a while. Let's see, we got Dennis and I were talking a little bit about Fortnite stuff, and he brought up this link about Microsoft with free Windows machines. Oh, I'm not showing that right. I got to push that push live button. The push live button. If for those of you in Zoom, if I fail to do that, tell me to push live. Doug, push live. That sounds like a I don't know, insult or something. No. So that's what that's about. We may wind up talking about that a bit. Yeah, I checked out that link, VirtualBox. Let's see. So hello to Chris. Chris has had a little bit of a health issue going on today and some pain. Hope you feel better soon. There's some chit chat back and forth about that. Tony Wallow, thank you for the $1.99 contribution. And I had that in chat right there. And Ken talking to me about one of the items that he was interested in from last week that I didn't remember or realize that I think that's when my computer crashed last week.
You went
So
through
we had
most
some
of it.
chit chat about that. Say again, Windermute.
You went through most of it.
I thought
Pretty
so.
much.
I thought so. The one thing I didn't get to do was to demonstrate the version that I have of that video now, which it is ready now.
Full disclosure, I had not watched it. I was just told that you were just getting into it when your computer crashed.
Oh, so you haven't even watched what I said already. So that's kind of, I'm not going to repeat all of that. You can go back and watch that to be in the last part of the video.
Be right back.
Let's see. Oh, Ken with his coffee. Let's see. Hit that there and bring up. He sent me an email this morning. Here it is. Let's see. That was pretty cute. Let's go show that. Here's the email he sent to me. I guess in response to me saying, I don't know what you're talking about, Ken. Drink your coffee. You're scaring me. Let's come back to chat. Yeah, so yeah, he was telling me which one it was, and I got it, and I added it to the list. So hello, Darren Johnson. Not Johnson, Darren and Jonathan. That was a mishmash of what I was reading there. And who else? Hello, Sheldon Ball. I tried to say hello to people in chat. If I skipped you, it wasn't, don't take it as a slight. It was not intentional. Yeah, let's see. People saying hello to each other. Chris might join Zoom later. Darren, 6 p.m. where he's at. UK, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Iran, Israel, hello. Winter Mutes in Zoom. This just jumped on me. There it is. Mortmont. Actually, I keep pronouncing Mortmont. It's not Mortmont. It's Mortant. Speedy C. Mortant again. Londog, hello. Let's see, are they saying anything I need? Oh, you need another button to put Alex in the waiting room from Chris. Yeah, that's a Ken thing. I'll leave that to Ken. Londog, Mortant, people saying hello to each other. Hello all in Zoom, and that kind of getting us caught up. Mike Paradin, hello. Am I missing any? Have I missed any of these? I don't think so. Rick Lakes, hello. There, we're all caught up. I haven't seen anybody voting for topics other than Ken's topic where he didn't even bother watching last week's video, which he knew already dealt with it. So
Catching up. I'm on 10 speed.
okay. Pedaling away on your 10 speed. Got it. So nobody's requesting specifics. So let me I'm going to go do one that I have set up to demonstrate a little bit. Actually, it's not going to demonstrate as well as I thought it was. I'm going to bring up my task manager on monitor number 1 there and show that currently I have memory in use 103 gigabytes. Well, before starting the show, that about 10 minutes before starting the show, that was up about 200 gigabytes in use. I have not closed down any programs since then. What the big memory hog is After Effects. After Effects is still open with the composition that I've been working on for promoting the show. And let's see if I start playing that. Oh, I got to move the playhead back to the beginning. I am displaying that. Yeah.
Scenes and sources.
Scenes and sources. Okay.
Right, the scenes.
Yeah, it's about a 3 or 4.
So there I just played a little bit of that, and I'm gonna switch back to Task Manager and show that really didn't make much of a difference at all with Task Manager. But what did make the difference is when I rendered the video. If I come up here to composition and add to render queue, and then pick let's see, down here, pick an output name for it, and I'll change this from 4 to 5
Oh.
and save that. Now, if I actually click over here on this render button, the memory is going to just start ramping up, and gradually over time, it's about a 20-minute render. This memory in use will go on up to about 200 gigabytes. Now, that was before I had XSplit open and before I was live streaming. And I don't think this early in the show that I'm going to click the render button. Because what do we think might happen?
So I'm guessing After Effects is a Adobe Premiere function.
Yes, After Effects is to Adobe Premiere what you have another program with DaVinci Resolve, some other program that you will move into to do other types of effects.
Fusion, probably.
Fusion, there you go. Ken couldn't remember the name, so.
Well, because
Jim came up
Fusion's
with
built
it.
into DaVinci. I don't bring it in. It's already there.
Oh,
And then it has a million things to use. The thing you're referring to might be the one that I'm still contemplating buying and bringing it in. In fact, I probably will buy it just to see what it does. But, okay. I also noticed can you go back to your screenshot of right before you were going to render it, please?
yeah. Let's see, over here, Adobe After Effects, and that is 2, and then push
And go
that
back one
live.
more
There we
where
go.
it showed all your oh
My
yeah,
output files. This?
no, one screen before that, even in Adobe itself, where it showed the media and I believe your After Effects was on the top line.
Let's see. Probably when I went to add it to the queue.
No, go completely back one. Not in rendering, the one where you were showing us what it does at first.
Oh, I was actually playing the video. I think that's what you're referring to. So
right, and then down at the bottom right now, you got a bunch of numbers that I can't read because I'm too far away. But there you go, that right there. So it looks like your Adobe is just opposite of DaVinci, and that you put the effect at the top, and then you stutter everything, or stutter stack everything underneath it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Well, let me show you something else here. When I scroll down here, you'll see that each of these different scenes, it's actually starting at the bottom. So this is the first
scenes and settings. Right.
This is the first one that's playing down here. And then the next scene is playing this one. And they just put them on those separate tracks. These could have been ordered differently.
Right. All right. Looks pretty similar to DaVinci.
There's some similarities. There's one piece in DaVinci that I've seen you doing where you have kind of it looks like a flow chart where you have those rectangles that you draw a line to another rectangle.
That's the Fusion. That's Fusion.
That's in Fusion. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have anything in Adobe Premiere or After Effects that looks like that. So I haven't spent enough time watching your videos or looking into that to really understand what's going on there. It looks like what you're doing, Ken, is over my head. It's too complicated. I don't understand.
If we're having full disclosure Saturday again, most of the time it's over my head too.
But you seem to have fun interacting with your group of cohorts that are experiencing that with you.
I enjoy having them there and having a different set of eyes. Wintermute's pointed things out. Jeff's pointed things out. And I was just having a private conversation with someone last night, not mentioning Jose's name or anything. And he asked me how I felt about people criticizing me. I said, actually, I appreciate it. I'll never learn anything if someone doesn't point out what I'm doing wrong. So
See, we can say what we want and then we don't have to do it. I mean, it's an ideal situation.
Is that what it is? Okay.
All right. So I do
All right.
see.
Thanks, Doug, for covering the Adobe. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? As long as we're that close, I talked about the memory a little bit. Now, I made a video from my phone showing what was going on with the memory because I knew I didn't want to actually run the render. Now this is separate from Ken's interest on the subject, but I thought it would be interesting. I have 256 gigabytes of RAM in this computer in the Big Beast build. It's kind of high. For people who don't know the numbers that well, normally we talk about 8 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes in a typical Windows computer. So I'm at 256 gigabytes. And when I first got that, I wondered, is the computer really going to be using that? Because you could be using Adobe Premiere and After Effects with 32 gigabytes of memory, and it goes just fine. But the Adobe Premiere and After Effects will use whatever memory you make available for it. Not use all of it, but it'll get up to like, what was that, around 80%, I suppose. So I thought it would be interesting to demonstrate that. So I made some pictures and some videos, and it looks like it has completed uploading those. So I'm going to go bring that up on another screen and say hello to Jeff. Jeff, you just came in, right?
A little bit ago, yeah.
Yeah. Hello. How are you today?
Almost overslept.
Ah.
Got up and did some things and then took a nap and forgot to wake up again.
Well, if you almost overslept, I think you should try harder at that. Okay, so and push the button for this monitor, then push live. So these videos have and photos have uploaded. Let's see, here's this would be the first one. That's a minute 53 long. So what happened here is when I had, let's start this right at the beginning. Okay, yeah, you see all this level zone here where I was using 49 gigabytes. At that point in time, I had After Effects open and I configured what I wanted to render. And then this point here where it starts going up is where I clicked render for it to start rendering. So here I'll click play. And I didn't have any voiceover on this, so I'm just going to turn off that audio. And it just ramps up very gradually. You're seeing it ramp up in real time there, and I'm moving over here to show the rendering. Now the rendering, that is video, that's moving right there, but it's rendering slow because there's a lot of video clips that it's trying to draw from, and I'm using proxy media for my editing work. So when it goes to render, it has to pull in the full resolution images. So there you see a little bit of movement. You can tell that it is moving. Then I'll go back and show that the memory is just on a consistent gradual climb. You can see the CPU up in the upper left of that screen. Its work is a little more erratic. And then I go in a little bit closer here to show the time. 1 minute 33 so far, another 9 minutes, 29 seconds expected. And that remaining time bounces around quite a bit. And then where do I go next? So people who question why, when people who do videos are talking about rendering, what's the big deal? Well, this is the big deal. That is a minute and a half long video that's taking 20 minutes to render. If I had a minute and a half long video that had much fewer video components to it, then it would run really quick. There, that one's done. Jeff, would you mind?
Right, you got a lot of movement in that, so it's going to take a while to render.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement. All those frames moving and all the different video clips that they're pulling from and pulling the original high resolution source video. So depends upon what you have in the video clip that you're trying to render as far as how long it's going to take. What could I do to speed things up? Well, let's go get back to a place where I'm showing that left-hand panel of this screen here. I wasn't showing that very well. Let's see, right here. Can I get to that? Let's see, we're showing GPU down here. See where that is indicating GPU number 0. The percentage, I think, is saying 9% there. It's a single digit percentage. Difficult to make it out from here because it's not very clear. It might even say 5%. And that's when it's well in progress. There's a setting within Adobe Premiere and After Effects that you can use set for hardware encoding, I think it's usually called, and I think all video production software probably have this. And in the past, I've had some crashes and found recommendations to tell me to change it to software encoding rather than hardware encoding. And I think, really? Are you kidding me? That means I'm not going to be relying on my graphics card so much, but making the processor do more of the work. I am interested in experimenting back and forth. Go back and like take this particular video production without making any other changes and test it with the hardware encoding versus the software encoding and see how it does. I'm not convinced that my crashes were caused by use of the hardware encoding.
What is the video card on Big Beast Build?
The video card on Big Beast Build is a, I know other people know that off the top of their head. Can almost
Gary's
say
video.
Well, if I come over here to display adapters, it's in, yeah, there it is. GT Force 3090. So
yes, it should be much faster if you use the graphics card.
Yeah, that's a pretty substantial graphics card.
Yep.
Particularly for me getting it, purchasing Big Beast Build during the days when graphics cards were ridiculously high prices. Fortunately, Carrie had bought that some time back and wasn't paying that ridiculously high price for it. So that is that video. Now I know some people have been asking for subject number 2 in chat. We will get to that. But let me finish this stuff first. So this is a 37-second later in the process. So now this was showing 6 minutes. My intention was to do a video clip as it was partway through and then one close to the end. And I didn't catch it close to the end. I was off in another room. That blue bar is showing the progress. So anytime I make a change and want to see it rendered at, well, this does show that we're up around the 200. So it got up over 200. I think I saw 201 gigabytes in use, and it leveled out once it got up to this level. And it actually did some dips down while the rendering was still in progress. So there's the 201. Pause right now. 84% of the CPU in action. Did I show? I don't know if I showed down low enough for the graphics card. Yeah, there it is. Graphics card. Right there is at 21% at the right edge of that graph, but you can see it was up higher at some portions of that process. So the memory all the way across this memory graph was up at the 200 gigabytes, but for some reason, a little bit strange to understand why, it's showing some busyness of the graphics card in here. Now, could it have been that I was launching other things on the computer at that time? It might be I was doing some other things on the computer at that time, causing the graphics card to trigger. Let's go on to the next. The rest of these are, I think, just photos. So here it was complete. It completed at 10:30 a.m. is what I'm showing there. And then the next photo, this just shows that the thing is completely completed. The video has some empty frames that I haven't populated yet. Going on to the next photo. Now this was interesting. Once the rendering was completed, the memory utilization did not decrease. It stayed right up at the 200 gigabytes area. And that is actually, let's see, how does this get bigger? Not going to get bigger there. Anyway, it's at 200 gigabytes in use after the rendering was completed. It did not drop down. And go on to the next photo. Here I'm launching XSplit. I just took a photo of me clicking on XSplit Broadcaster. And what did you expect to have happen? Did you expect the memory to decrease when I launch another program? A video production program, XSplit. That's what I'm using for this live stream. Then the next photo. Oh, I hadn't even answered yes to the user account control yet. So here I'm answering yes to that. Here's the XSplit splash screen as it's launching. And then here's what's happening with memory. So it came down a little bit. It looks like it's incrementing up a tiniest bit. We're at 170 gigabytes in use now. And then XSplit hasn't actually fully opened up yet. And go on to the next photo. Here's XSplit is open. This is my preview screen that I just started using since XSplit and Stream Deck got their act together to where they're cooperating with each other for split screen productions. So, which means I can, when I punch a button on Stream Deck, it shows up on the left side and I can do whatever blurring that I need to do. Then I press the push live button and that moves it over to this side to where the audience can see it. Then, so here's the memory. It's XSplit totally loaded and really memory hasn't gone up at all. So what's happening here is Adobe After Effects is unloading some memory at the same time that XSplit is loading some memory. And then we're at 168 gigabytes. And then memory goes down even more after it's sitting for a while. I still have After Effects open. I showed it to you. Now let's go have a look at what's going on now with, let's see, bring After Effects back up, go back to that monitor, push live. So now you're seeing that After Effects is still open. And then let's go see what memory utilization I have now, 107 gigabytes. So what I'm pointing out here is just that the way the computer uses memory might not be what you would intuitively expect, in the sense that memory utilization doesn't necessarily increase just because you've opened more programs, and it doesn't necessarily increase when you close programs. So I'm about to close After Effects, unless there's some other request before I close it, particularly from Ken. Do you have anything you want me to do before I close After Effects?
No, I'm good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Well, say hello to Chris Garrett. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris Garrett.
How you doing?
Hello, Chris.
Doing good. Doing good. Sure hope you feel better soon.
Yeah, I took Tylenol, so I'm not really hurting right now. So,
All right. Well, I'm going to switch back over here then to
I put something in chat for you. If you have time today, we can look at that.
yeah, I'll get back to chat here pretty quick. I'm going to finish up what I'm dealing with here about this memory utilization and get the right button here and push that live. So here is Adobe After Effects. I'm showing this all on monitor 3. Task Manager is showing how much memory in use. And then I'll put these, let's move that side by side. So these two are side by side. That was Ken's favorite keystroke move of dragging one window to the right side and then picking from the remaining windows to fill the left side. So here I'll close After Effects and see what happens to memory. I don't
Keyword.
need to save that because I have saved it. What was that, Ken?
Keyword was my favorite.
Was your favorite, no longer. Okay. And so let's see what happens to memory. That memory screen is live, and it looks like it dipped down just the tiniest bit, but After Effects hasn't actually completely closed yet. Oh, it says not responding. There's a little bit of a dive in memory. After Effects still says not responding. Now it went away, and there's memory crashing. And then leveling out a bit, still going down. At some point there, it should start leveling out. Okay, while that's going on, I'm going to bring up chat on my monitor number 1. So topic 2 requested by Rand Israel and Jonathan. Hello to Scopio. There, it's kind of leveling out now. Over here to the chat window. Yeah, Rand and Jonathan asking 2. Hello to Scopio. Topic 2 from Dennis. Using a real 22H2 operating system. So as a reminder, what topic 2 is, I'll come over to here. Topic 2 is adding more virtual computers and more operating systems to Big Beast Build, because we did the basic virtual computer last Saturday. Greg Guy saying hello to everybody. Hellos back and forth, looking for new names. Doug, what happens to CPU usage when you're using a lot of memory? You set around 80%. What happens when CPU is dealing with that much rendering and RAM? The amount of RAM that is occupied right now doesn't really have that much effect, in my observation, of what the CPU, how busy the CPU is. The CPU is busy based upon what is happening, what task you have requested of it. After I finish that rendering operation and it's at 200 gigabytes of RAM in use, then the computer kind of goes idle and the CPU goes way down. Right now, CPU usage is at 20% and I'm still live streaming. So there's not really a one-for-one connection between the amount of RAM that's in use right now and what the CPU, how busy the CPU is right now. Hellos and chit chat. Spectrum Wi-Fi, it's 1 gig from Bobby. Hello, Bobby. Warren. That would be in relation to some conversations we had last week, I think, or during the week. My Spectrum Wi-Fi is fast. I use their equipment. There's AT&T and even Comcast has places in our town where they have 1 gigabit. And we can get 1 gigabit Wi-Fi, but it's not available here where I am. Drywall, done a little bit of that. Lawn Dog, Doug, so you have 84% CPU usage, about 80% RAM usage. It's kind of interesting in the sense that the shuffle space for all that rendering can be done in RAM rather than between the CPU. Well, yeah. I think that's maybe a little bit off. That's kind of interesting in the sense that the shuffle space for all that rendering can be done in RAM. So the way I understand it, when you request the rendering to run, the CPU is pulling information from memory, mixing it up, doing stuff, stick it back in memory, pull up some more, so that the CPU is doing the work, and the RAM memories, you can kind of think of it as a temporary holding space before something's ready to go to the hard disk. Now, if we're doing this with a computer that only has 32 gigabytes of RAM, how's it going to do that rendering operation? Well, what happens is it uses the virtual RAM, part of the hard drive, as pretend RAM. if it needs that, or it just leaves less stuff in RAM memory at any moment. Now, if I was doing that rendering operation with far fewer video clips involved, then I suspect it wouldn't have climbed up to 200 gigabytes of RAM. If I were, well, to take this on to another level, let's bring up this back over here to Task Manager. If I were looking at page pool and non-page pool and see what was going on there and with committed and cache, that might have been some other interesting things because, whoops, I've got my picture in the way. Where do I? Oh, I have to go to another screen to do that. So let me just turn that off and then push that live. There. So down here where I was pointing to is page pool and non-page pool. That's going to have to do with the virtual memory portion of the hard drive that's being used as pretend memory. Now it's only showing 1.4 gigabytes. That's tiny compared to the amount of RAM that I'm using. Probably would do well for me to review that whole subject before I try to give much of a intelligent review of that. So, but worthy point, Lawn Dog. Bobby Warren gets 940 down and 40 up. And he was saying the Spectrum Wi-Fi, my Spectrum Wi-Fi is fast. So he's only getting 1 gig down. So it's not fiber. That gets same speed up, the same as down. My brother Bob, my younger brother Bob, just got AT&T fiber optic at his home, and we haven't even done a speed test on it yet. Long dogs and your storage media with lesser amounts of RAM. Let's see, his rather than between the CPU and sentence that's going on there. That rendering can be done in RAM rather than between CPU and your storage media with lesser amounts of RAM. Okay, there you go. I would believe you would do more like caching to your storage media back and forth as needed because of the limited RAM. Yeah, perfect. What he's saying there, I think, is if you had less physical RAM in the computer, then there's going to be more activity between the CPU RAM exchanging with the virtual memory on your storage media. And that's where it's really useful to have the faster speed NVMe drives. Mud and Sand, that's chit chat. Add time to the render, right? For what you're doing, having all the extra RAM is what a video machine is about. I forgot the name of the video machine. There's a term for it. Media. Okay, yeah, I guess I forgot it too. Lawn Dog, what provider do you have for your internet? Roughly down, I believe I'm roughly down, 1 megabytes down. I'm going to skip over some of the chit chat about the internet service providers. Some morning, I can't remember all the bits. Chris, if you have time to do, maybe you can check and see why I cannot access my router's configuration. Oh, interesting. We can do something live here. Router has been reset many, many times. I cannot access my router's configuration. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I'd like to go do that. So, Chris, can we do a remote connection to your computer for that?
Yes, we could.
Okay, good. Thank you. I'm going to go finish up on the chat room here. And there's also topic number 2 for virtual machines that was requested. It's supposed to get 700 megabits down now. Going to skip over that. Going to skip over the drywall. How much of the memory utilization changes might be due to Windows' own memory management, not the programs? Well, I think it's, substantially Windows is the memory manager. I don't think the programs are in control of what elements are in memory right now and what's on virtual disk. Now, I haven't studied that subject, but I suspect that it's Windows completely in control of what it is going to shuttle off to virtual memory on the storage media as opposed to what it keeps in active memory. The reason why I'm thinking that is because it's just the Windows operating system is supposed to take on the responsibilities so that the programs can do their own thing. We don't really want the programs to be performing operating system functions. It's just too much redundancy and conflict of interest there, I think. So it's normal, actual speed, plenty, area, no charge, spectrum. I came across something curious this week. If you're interested, have a solid lead as to the cause, but the numbers don't quite add up. So let's see, does Rand give us more clues about that? He doesn't. Came across something curious this week. If you're interested, I have a solid lead as to the cause, but the number don't quite out. Yeah, go ahead and start giving us some more information on that, Rand. If you read my comments, if you read on in my comments with less amount of RAM, you do virtual shuffling to your storage media as you are telling the audience. Yeah, so I think we're in agreement there, Lawn Dog. You remember Windows 7, you had Ready Boost. When we had spinning hard drives, that was actually kind of useful to speed things up a little bit because it would use the thumb drive for caching. Oh, I never did do that rather than spinning hard drive. So using a thumb drive as a form of virtual memory to speed things up. Yeah, I never did try that. Hello, Catherine. Catherine Anna Hauserman in the house. Well, in the chat. People saying hello. If I skip over somebody's comment and don't, and you want me to go back to that, you could just copy and paste it in again and give me the 3 question marks or hit me an orange if I didn't pay close enough attention. So that's internet again. Seldom Bell does it. Spectrum, that's still on the internet. It's fine for you guys to be conversing about that. I'm just not going to go into that topic right now. Some programs look at how much memory is available and make their own decision about what should go to disk. Image Magic as an example. Interesting. All right. So program making their own decision about what should go to disk. Interesting. I can't wait till you finish with Chris's issue. Okay, so Rand likes that. And I think Rand was one of the first that asked for topic number 2. So maybe that'll be a vote to go to Chris first. And I think, Chris, you said you were going to come in late. Are you going to need to get out of our session early? What model
No,
did you
I'm
get?
fine. I'm fine.
Okay, good. You could use your input. Keep your eyes and ears open. Okay, let's come back to Chris. I'm in the mood to go ahead and deal with Chris's subject. Chris, so you're saying that you can't get into the programming interface of your router, right? Now you're muted.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I think what you did, I said you're muted, and while you were still muted, you said, "Oops, sorry," right? Or you said something
I did.
while you were still muted. All right, so let's get connected to your computer, Chris, and see what we can come up with. Chris, I need you to go to the website logmein123.com. Unless we already have an icon on your desktop called DougBetts Remote. I don't think we do.
We don't.
All right.
Okay.
Bobby Warren says his computer runs slow sometimes. Now, was he the one that's saying he has a topic? All right. So is it asking you
That
for the
was
6-digit code? That was Rand.
It is.
All right. The 6-digit code, Chris, is 311184. And here's Chris coming in to Log Me In Rescue Technician console.
Okay, you can take the mouse. I won't move the mouse. I was gonna close that other window, but I won't do that.
All right. I click remote control session and we are connected to Chris's computer. And then go full screen. Then we'll minimize his Zoom session. And that's going to make it, oops, I clicked the wrong one, didn't I? I'm looking at Big Beast's build, trying to click things on his computer. So when we minimize Zoom, he's seeing my image here. I'm going to drag it down to be behind my picture-in-picture.
It does look a little like Windows 7, but it is Windows 10.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
I got
start button. You've got one of those pretend to be an older operating system gadgets, gizmos. Okay, so I'm going to start this by going to a command prompt. I press the Windows key and then type CMD, press enter. That gets me to a command prompt and then type IP config, enter, and this will show us what your IP address is and what your gateway address is. So for your computer is 192.168.1.64 and your gateway is .254. So I'll point to those on the screen here. In fact, I should be able to highlight that one. Yeah. So there's his IP address and here's his gateway address. So I've got that selected. I'll press Control C for copy and then bring up a browser. I see you have...
It's actually already in run, so...
It's in run.
Yeah,
oh,
it's in the
okay.
box, the run boxes.
You've got that IP address here. So you've got HTTP 192.168.1.254. So I could have opened up a browser and typed this into the address field, or just do it from the run line and then click OK. See what that brings up for us. We see Microsoft Edge here blinking at us. I think it's blinking.
Well,
yeah.
It's showing on my other screen. You can't see both screens. I might need to move it myself.
I can switch to your other screen. That's okay. I'm moving my mouse up to the top here, and if I click on this cycle monitors button at the top, then it switches to your next monitor. So it says, can't reach this page. Now, if I come down here and click on details, and then scroll down, sometimes it'll give us an option here to pass on to it. Checking the connection, checking the proxy. I'm going to try.
Refused.
Yeah, I'm going to try coming up here and put a
different browser.
HTTPS. Yeah, I agree with that. And is that going to do us anything different? I'm going to try going back and looking again at the command. See, you had HTTP here rather than HTTPS, so I was suspecting that might get us there, but it did not. We have HTTPS now in the address. And search the web for checking connection, proxy, and firewall. I don't think any of that's going to help us. I'm going to look at the details now that I'm in with HTTPS. No. And then take a look here. No. So another browser. Here's Google Chrome. I'm going to come up to the address bar and do a Control-C copy of that. Then open Google Chrome. When I'm looking at Big Beast now, since I have this split screen going on in XSplit, it's smaller than it used to be. So it's difficult for me to look forward to the camera. Oh, Google Chrome opened on the other window. So I'll go back to the other monitor and click in the address bar. and then Control V paste, press enter. Here's details on the right-hand side. What I've often found is down at the bottom, there would be a link to click to go to this website anyway, and essentially overriding any protections that are in place. So I think what's going on here is we've got some.
It says refuse. That means that the router is actually physically refusing the connection.
Okay. So who is your internet service provider, Chris?
AT&T.
AT&T.
They might be disabled it.
I find that
you called them, right?
To believe.
I did, but I didn't really get nowhere with them. I mean,
Okay, doing a Google search here. AT&T refuses connection. Let's go over. Turn over this way. Refuse connection. When we had our new phones installed, network routers reworked. Since then, 1.254 says a connection was refused. That sounds like a promising search result. So here's the question, and person saying they need to be able to set up port forwarding, and the response. A little too far there. We're happy to help with your port forwarding, CC. To learn more about port forwarding for your gateway, select your modem gateway. Let us know if this helps. Not really. Not hardly. Not at all.
That's it.
Put it that way. And that's the top search result.
You check the link that they're pointing to?
Oh, well, all right.
Oh, no. Go ahead. So.
Yeah, I was going to look for other search results that seem more useful. Let's see, what do they say? Port forwarding and setup for your gateway. They actually might have the instructions there. Yeah, so I did a right click and then load in new tab. It's kind of my habit in case I want to go back to that screen. Port forwarding for BGW210. Does this look like your router?
No, that's not
the right.
Not the right one.
They don't want to know. They don't want to know what I think.
They don't what?
They don't want to know what I think about
what you
them.
Think.
It said, "Tell us what you think." They don't want to know.
Okay, but is this your router? BGW210.
No, it's not. I think if you click that arrow, arrow down, I think mine might be in there.
Okay.
There was an arrow down.
But I was thinking that there might be something here such as what we see here, device access code. Is there a label on the router that gives a device access instructions?
There is.
Okay. What do you find on that?
Okay, I'm going to have to get that information. I should have had that information ready, but I didn't.
Yeah, I suggest you take a photo of it with your phone.
Oh, yeah, I could do that. I got
What's the gateway settings link show?
Behind the TV.
Because I have seen that where they'll have a label on the router and it's a completely different method of connecting to it. It might be an actual device name that we put into the browser in order to access its programming. Even though these instructions are a different router, it very well could be AT&T's strategy is consistent across all their routers.
Yeah, but you can't put the device access code until you connect to it. If it's refusing connection, that's not the issue.
Well, no, I think it's refusing the connection via IP address. But if we put in the method that they have programmed it to accept, that it will let us in. And I have been down the road before.
Look at step number 1. Go to your gateway settings. What is that link showing? Because that's showing you how to log into the router.
Okay, Zach, what do you need now?
Is there something on there that tells how to connect to the router?
Yeah, it just says go to 192. .168.1.254.
Okay, so it's just a link to the 1254. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much useless.
That's a normal method of doing it then. So what is keeping us from getting there? So let's go back to the search results. Although, let's see, what did we get to here? This was for setting up port 40. Now on this gateway settings, that it didn't find that link, but I did a right click, open a new tab. I have seen sometimes that does not work. If it doesn't work, I'll left click on that link and see if that works better. Nope. If I do details here, well, I think this is actually trying to take us to the routers. Yeah, it's trying to take us to the router. Now here's hide details. That's because we expanded that before, and it's actually taken us to the IP address. All right. So something somewhere is blocking us in some form of firewall settings or antivirus settings.
Turn off this firewall.
Yeah, on the local computer. But I'd rather find a search result that gives us a more direct, authoritative result. This one, power cycle, no, not interested in that. Someone have changed my Mac settings. I can't get to .254. This one is dated 2020. Synology refuses, not interested in that. My signed public IP, not interested in that. I cannot log into my router's settings homepage. Try clearing your browser cache.
That's been done.
That's been done? Okay.
Yep.
This one here is on AT&T forums. Need help configuring. So you've been working on this and other people have been suggesting ideas and nothing has worked yet, right?
Nope, nothing's worked.
We can help look into this. Let's confirm you have the correct IP address, resetting, travel, accessing other websites, browsing in general. This is all pretty not very useful. Okay, so we haven't found anything but with a reasonable Google searching. Have you tried disabling firewall antivirus? It's just Windows Defender. There's just nothing that's going to be doing. Somebody in chat asked about ping, so let's check on ping. Ping 192.168.1.254.
That works. I pretty much guarantee it.
Yeah, we tried it.
It works.
Timeout.
Okay. Another thing would be to bring in another browser such as Opera, Firefox. Do you have any other browsers besides Chrome and Edge?
I don't. We could do
Actually,
that.
Doug, a shot might be try Telnet.
Telnet. Is that what you said, Gary? Telnet?
Yep. Take the browser out of the equation.
Yeah. I don't know commands for Telnet very well. Welcoming.
Go to the command prompt. Just
All
if it's installed on the machine, just Telnet in with the IP. Telnet space IP. See if it what it says to you. He probably doesn't have Telnet installed. You'll have to go in program as a features and set it up.
Right.
You don't even have to reboot to set it up.
Oh, all right.
You do not have to.
Do not have to reboot.
Nope.
To set up Telnet.
Nope.
So we either install Telnet or install an off-brand browser. I'm gonna go catch up with chat and see what other suggestions are coming through there.
Somebody did ask, is he using Ethernet to get to it, or is he using wireless?
Ethernet.
Use
Okay.
Ethernet. Yeah,
That should
we've got the computer monitor in the bottom left corner, bottom right corner. Your other left, Doug. Does remote software work for Mac? Oh, yes, but only viewing. I can't actually control a Mac. I can view a Mac and talk somebody through what to do, and I've done that. And I think there's some environments where I can actually remotely control a Mac. I'm not real clear on what those environments are. I think it might have to do with the version of the operating system that I was doing with the clients that I have done that with, meaning their operating system was either too new for me to be able to control or too old for me to be able to control. And the too new would be because Mac had the iOS operating system had tightened up security. Lawn Dog, computer running slower, traditional spinning hard drive. Looking for specifics to this issue we're working on for Chris. Afternoon. I'm here now. Hello, Zavi Manor. And Zavi, that link that you provided, I think it was last week. I've got it in my available topics for today. I don't know if we'll get to it.
Yeah, Doug.
Hello. Yes, Chris.
If you look right here, well, you can't see my finger pointing, but it says the pace 5268 AC. That is my router. It's one of the links on Google search. It says there's a January 22nd, 2022.
Okay,
like
January 2nd.
It's down
here.
Right here, yeah.
This one, let's say it's a firmware 3 option. My assigned public IP refuses to connect. That's not really your problem though. That is my router.
If you want to know my router name, that is my router right there. That pace 5268 AC. Yep, that's it.
The pace.
Yeah, 5268 AC.
48. Now this over here says BGW210, and that's the one I asked you about earlier, but you're recognizing the word pace.
Yeah.
Install a third-party router behind the pace. Okay, yeah. So that pace is your router, but that search result is not specifically on our topic. That's a different issue entirely. So the question about does the router respond to pings? Yes, it does. Sometimes you need an Ethernet connection. We do have Ethernet. One of 6 Wi-Fi devices, turning off the Wi-Fi. That's they're conversing between each other. Hard for me to get my ISP to understand me. From Rick. Scanning visually. That's chit chat. There's a link in line 1. Is there an alternate port number on the label? That label, did you take a picture of that label, Chris?
I did.
Do you have a way of displaying that on your computer screen?
No, not really, because I did it on my phone, and it's not that bright. So I mean, it's not that good.
Can you email it from your phone to your computer?
I'll try to. Yeah, I'm gonna get a better picture too, though.
Yeah, because I'd like to actually see the label. Because it ran not only an alternate port number, but is there something else on that label that might be useful that Chris might not be recognizing?
Doug, I have AT&T too, and all it says is for advanced device configuration, go to 192.168.1.254, and then it prompts you for the device access code, but Chris never gets that far.
Okay, does the label have the device access code?
Oh, of course.
Okay, so we just haven't got that from him yet because we can't get to that point. I think it is the case that the computer is somehow preventing us from getting there, or something is preventing it.
Or he possibly changed the IP of the box, the gateway.
Say that again, Gary?
Could he have changed the IP of the gateway? I mean, I'm not familiar with that for gateway, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so, because we're getting a ping from that IP address.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
It is responding, though.
Yeah, it is responding to a ping, so it is on .254.
Something's there.
We're using a wired Ethernet connection, or we're using Wi-Fi to contact the router. I've run into routers that only can be contacted through Ethernet. Yeah, I agree with that. You know, it's kind of old school, and I've run into that before too. Could his firewall be blocking him from accessing his router? it's possible to configure a firewall to prevent that, but he's just using Windows Defender, and I can't see that.
Doug, you want me to send that to you, or you want me?
You could send it to, yeah, send it to me. I came across this as well. That's between those two. Telnet open. And that's okay, but we have to have Telnet installed first. Zv's got us a link here to something. Let's see what that is. Unable to get to .254. Unable. Does not resolve. Please advise. Scrolling all the way down to see how long this is. Looking in here for the answer. Wow, that one was out there. Good catch. Which gateway model do you have? Yeah. Sorry to suggest this normal throwaway, but have you rebooted? If you do an IP config, what does it show for your IPv4 and the default gateway address?
Here's what we're gonna
do a ping for. If none of this helps explain, I'll probably suggest a factory reset on the gateways. Not an employee. We're glad to see you figured out how to get into your router, Edward Dallas. I got to it. I had to open a new application guard window in the Edge browser. Well, that sounds promising. Let's go try that. I had to open a new application guard window. I'm going to guess, I mean, that sounds like an incognito window or some variation on that. Application guard window. New window. Is there anything here about application guard? Does anybody in Zoom know that term?
Never heard of that.
Application guard. Well, let's try incognito. What was that, Wintermute?
Where are you seeing that?
Oh, on, did I not display that? Let me come back to here. It was on this one here, Edward Dallas. I got to it. I had to open a new application guard window in the Edge browser. So, Control C, go to a new tab, Control V, paste. What does this mean? Here's how. Open Microsoft Edge browser, click the menu button, top right, select New Application Guard Window option. Menu top right, we're in Edge. No, are we in Edge?
No.
No, that's Google. That's Chrome. Here's Edge.
Edge is on the other screen.
See your photo, Tony. Thank you. Tony, was that your router or is that Chris's router? Application guard window. Instructions. Open Microsoft Edge browser, click the menu button top right, select the new application guard window option.
You're still in Chrome, Doug.
Another thought, just maybe, how about an Android or an Apple app?
It's on the other, the Edge.
Oh, it's on the other monitor. Oh, okay. That's what's happening. All right. Now go to the three-dot menu. Thank you. New application guard. New and private. Zoom collections. History downloads. Apps, games, extension, performance.
Oh, no, latest version.
Application guard window. More tools. Save page name window. Mass solver. Application guard window. Well, here's the next page that took me to was here. Microsoft Edge browser. Click the menu top right. Select the new application guard option. They're showing what it looks like. It's right under new in private
Windows
window.
11.
Oh, is that it?
Site I said how to use it in 11. I don't know if it's in 10 or not.
You can launch the new application guard in Microsoft Edge browser in browsing mode. You now see a Microsoft Defender application guard window to protect your device against malware. Edge is opening in application guard. New virtualized environment. You can use Edge Application Guard to browse untrusted sites with a separate Hyper-V container if the site contains malicious code. So this would be a way of getting around the protection. Now here they're showing Application Guard. Oh, is this it? Let's go look at this.
Hey, Doug.
Right up
here. I don't suggest doing this, but you might disable the firewall and try it.
Yeah, I don't have any reservations about trying that, but this is the icon that they were showing on that page. Send tab to your device. No, that's not what we want. Does any of these have to do with application guard? I doubt it. I'm hard pressed to imagine that Microsoft Edge works differently in Windows 11 than Windows 10 in this respect. So it's supposed to be right under this option. Is there some kind of advanced settings? Go into settings here and try application guard. Searching for application guard. No search results found. I typed it right.
Yeah, it goes back to version 77 apparently.
Application guard goes back to version 77?
Yeah, there's a Microsoft site about it. So it applies to Microsoft Edge version 77 or later, and that was a while ago. So.
Okay, so this. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here's the thing: turning Windows features on or off. There's a Windows feature to turn on when Microsoft Defender Application Guard. So we got too far down into that. And here I'm going to go try to do this without reading the rest of these instructions that we skipped over. So if we go Windows key R, whoops, am I on the right keyboard? Oh, that went to his other monitor. Switch to his other monitor. And I'll do Control A on the run line, appwiz.cpl. That went to his other monitor, so switch. And then come up here to turn Windows features on or off in the upper left corner here. And did that go to the other monitor? Yes, it did. So looking for application guard, and it's Microsoft, so it's in the M's. Microsoft Defender Application Guard right here. This might require a restart. If we do a restart, the remote connection will automatically restore. Chris, are you connected in? Yeah, you are on Zoom through the computer. So yeah, it does. Windows complete the requested change, but let's try it without restarting, because sometimes I've observed that we're told that we have to restart when that's actually not true. So I'm going to try don't restart.
Looks like it does require virtualization enabled in the BIOS, like you did for the virtual machine.
Okay, well, let's close Edge. And let's see, am I back? This is not Edge. Edge has a horizontal ellipsis menu. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Click here. So this is Edge with the ellipsis menu. And I'll just verify that it doesn't show up now. I'm sure we'd at least have to restart Edge. But I think we're probably going to have to restart the computer. Okay, there's Edge. Yeah, we don't have it. Now I'm going to come back to Windows features and verify that that is still selected. Switch to the other monitor. And to Microsoft Defender Application Guard, still selected. And it didn't prompt this time for a restart. So Chris, we want to shut down everything that's open and restart the computer.
Okay. Do I need to make sure virtualization is enabled in the BIOS?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I know I heard somebody say something about that.
Yeah, if it lets you select it, it will be enabled.
It's already enabled.
It won't even let you select it if it's not enabled.
I wonder if MS Info 32 will tell us that virtualization is enabled. Does anybody know?
It should be.
It does. Where is it?
Looking here. Don't get a search here.
Yeah, virtualization-based security.
Total virtual memory, virtualization-based security not enabled. Oh, Hyper-V. Yeah, these Hyper-Vs are all yes. Hyper-V is virtualization, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all these are set to yes. So that makes me think it's already enabled.
Are you in, what are you in SysInfo or MS Info?
That was MS Info 32.
Yeah, he's good.
Goes down the other things that are open. Goes down My Radar. And Programs and Features. Close. By the way, I can see both monitors at the same time when I choose all monitors right here. So if I'm closing down all the open programs, this is kind of a convenient way to do it. And then I'll use Alt-Tab to see what else. The only other thing is Zoom. So we'll go ahead and issue a restart. And Chris, you'll need to restart your Zoom.
Okay.
And here we go. Goodbye, Chris.
Will your remote software see when he's back online?
Yeah, my remote software will automatically show him again. As a matter of fact, let me show that as it's happening. See right here, it tells me that he's rebooting. And when this launch remote control session button becomes available, then I have to click on it to resume the remote session. Go look at chat, scroll up to my last. We don't need to see when that comes up. And so we looked at that. Doug, visit possible. He has another device, even something on Wi-Fi, trying to try and contact the router using the web address. It might eliminate the thought of something with a computer. Well, that's a good idea. Another computer, another device. Does he have another device? Does the router use its own gateway login? Coworker has AT&T. It's hard for her to access the IP. Then I brought my Mac and it would let me access it. Okay, and let's go. Click connect. We have Chris again. Minimize his Zoom. Drag it down behind my picture-in-picture. Minimize the Zoom window. And then go to display all monitors and we'll launch. There's Microsoft Edge. Got the wrong monitor. Now, let's go see if we have that. We don't have it. Right, let's go look at AppWiz. I did Windows key R. I'm not seeing the run line right now. I'm just typing appwiz.cpl. If I type that correctly, bingo, it shows up on the monitor we're looking at. Turn Windows features on and off. You're gonna have to go look at the rest of the instructions on that website, because remember I did look at the entire instructions. Do we have, yes, we have application guard. So I'm going to come back to the instructions on that website, which is over here. Let's scroll up to the top.
Hello.
Hello, Catherine. How are you today?
Read the chat.
Okay, I'll get back to chat here. So we're trying to clear the browser cache. Nmap freeware can be used to find out what ports are actually open on the router. Don't know if you want to get that deep in the weeds. Don't think that's what we really need. So Doug may want to do a hard reset on the router. Yeah, figured that could be too, but I think we'll have an easier way. Edge, that's new to me. Okay, so Rick, I think, is saying that same thing about that particular method of doing that browser thing. It has to be enabled. I got in my coworker Haley's ATT router, and she has Windows 7. I bought a Mac to her house. I got in, do a hard reset on the router. It's possible they screwed up. Could be an update from his internet provider to the router. Application guard, I believe, is something to do with external programs. Back in a few, going to the beer store. Windows 11, Microsoft Edge has the same menu as Windows 10. Virtualization, status shown in the CPU pane. Task manager. Oh, that's good. I got to my coworkers, typing their AT&T IP address from my Mac. I think that's a few times he's told us that. Edge application guard internals utilities in the address bar of Edge. Okay, type in that command from Catherine. Gotcha, Catherine. We'll try that right now. I believe Windows Application Guard is a tool Microsoft uses to keep you from downloading non-validated applications. I don't think we should be concerned about it. We're chasing a rabbit hole. I don't know about that. I think we may be on the right track with that. But here's Application Guard internals utilities. So I'm going to do, now on Big Beast build, I'm doing a Control-C copy. And I'm going to turn over to Baby Beast and do a Windows key V. And yes, it is showing up there. And I'm just making sure that I don't have any confidential things in the clipboard buffer there. What was that, Catherine?
No, I talked to my cat. Sorry, dog. It's not for you.
Okay. So here on the way this works is really sweet. I can copy something from, do a copy on Big Beast build or on my laptop that's in the kitchen, and then come up, move my mouse up here to the top where I get the drop-down menu for my Log Me and Rescue, and do Windows key V. Because my computers are all signed in with my Microsoft account and they synchronize to each other, I get this copy content right here. So now I can, on Chris's computer, I can paste that link. With the Control V. Application card. Oh no, it wasn't. That's not what she was saying. She was saying do that in Edge. Well, that's it right there.
You got Edge.
I got it. I got Edge, and here's the application guard internals. Oh, it's interesting. Enabled, yes. So it is enabled. Host. Container status is pending. Service status not running. Container to host redirection, all this stuff is pending. Then there's utilities, check URL, trust. Oh, that's interesting. I'm tempted to put in the router's IP address to check it, and then perhaps I can tell it to trust it. Of course, now I'm just kind of running forward with my own ideas about this rather than reading the instructions. Catherine, did you have any more instructions about doing this, or am I free to explore? All right. So here I put in the IP address. I didn't do HTTP. Oh, it automatically added HTTP, so it's checking that.
You know why?
Why?
I don't use Edge very often.
Okay.
I just use it as backup when I cannot get something working in Waterfox.
Okay, so I'm guessing that you just did some searches while we were struggling with this and you found this piece of information.
There is an article about this
Okay.
application guard of Microsoft, and I put it in the chat too. But
Okay.
then you don't read the chat, and then yes.
Okay, Catherine, here I'll do this for you. See, here's my hand, and then there. My hand's been slapped for not reading the chat enough.
Yes.
In the address bar of Edge. Okay, so I did that, and that is still pending. So I'm going to come back here and read the chat like a good host would. Next, I believe Windows Application Guard is a tool Microsoft uses to keep you from downloading non-validated applications. So yeah, I think so. This appears to me to be a way to get around it, to say that I know what I'm doing here. I want to get to this site. Please let me get to it. Selden Ball, so we'll see you later. Tells us he has to go. See how easy computer repair is. You can repair anything in a few minutes and make big money. Well, there you go, Lawn Dog. That lets me out. I'm neither fast nor wealthy. Truth be known about computer repair, I dated for a very, very long time and never really made anything more than beer money. I think Lawn Dog's using voice dictation there, and what he probably dictated was, I did it for a very long time. It got translated.
He might have dated for a long time too. You never know.
Yeah. Well, he dated for a long time and never really made anything more than beer money while he was dating. Okay.
Weird.
I know a girl like that once.
I'm pretty sure Lawn Dog is male, but
you never know.
Yeah. Still could have been dating for beer money, I suppose. That emote took forever to get to.
Hey, how you get your beer? You get your beer.
My new band, Dating for Beer Money.
Sounds like
I've seen that on the side of the road. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know what emote Dennis was referring to about. Oh, the thumbs up. Oh, sure. Okay, yeah, good. All right. So if you're going for an emote, you click on the emote button here, and then right here where it says search emoji, type thumbs up, and that gives you a quick way to get to some thumbs. So does that answer your question, Dennis? And you can actually pick your skin color for the thumb. And of course you can search for other things. Now then, and you can do that on a cell phone too, smartphone. But then on the smartphone, I found it a little difficult to realize how to close this window. And the answer is click on the keyboard icon on the bottom left. And it was the same on my iPhone as here. Yes, you will hear people saying like Doug and others, but they also have potentially higher education clientele that they work hard to get under their control. And I didn't do any formal education for my computer skills. I learned on the job doing the work. However, that was a different era. That was 3 decades ago. But still, I think a person could get into computer tech just by, if they're driven and pursuing the hobby long enough, intensely enough, and getting a broad enough base. You go interview for a job in a small company and you can get hired without the credentials. I still think that is valid. A large company would be harder to do. Yeah, Doug, you're right. Speech recognition. And yes, I dated my customers. I did date one client. Interesting experience. Yeah, enough said on that. I never made anything more than beer money. Yeah, let's see. Then most of my customers wouldn't spend more than $150 to fix the computer, and I would an enormous amount of time repairing it. One of the things there is where you get your clients from. I did find ways to pursue business clients. That was for me getting involved with my Chamber of Commerce and leads clubs and doing some free seminars that I would advertise in the newspaper. I would rent a hotel conference room and do seminars. I was picking up customers that way. And also I volunteered on a lot of community committees, and became known that way and picked up some clients that way. But if you're picking up clients from home users or people that are looking in the cheapest possible ways, then you're going to have difficulty with that type of clientele.
Yeah, you're going to pay. You might pay your bills, but you're not going to make any real money.
Right.
Make 150 all night. That's not much for a night.
No.
Yeah.
Of computer repair.
Right. Be up half the night. Yeah. Right. You need to be to really make a career out of it. I think you need to be servicing business clients. But Windows 10 is much easier these days than Windows 7, and of course Windows XP. A lot of beer money. Tony loves something that was on in there. And Stout demonstrates his versatility with emojis. Long Dog, 10 or more years ago, I did everything, of course. Craigslist. Yeah, Craigslist. Well, you're not going to find any good customers there.
You're scraping the bottom of the barrel there.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, you might do that if you're wanting a little bit better than free work just to get more exposure to things for you to learn. If you're just using that as a source of education. And I passed around cards, did this for a long time. Actually took my cards, would go into parking lots and put them on windshields, things like that. That's, again, also going to get you the cheapest customers. Go into places where you can meet business people. Go find a newsletter from your Chamber of Commerce. Look for leads clubs in your communities, which is groups of people that you'll meet with on a weekly basis who gather perhaps for a breakfast meeting, specifically for the purpose of referring clients to each other. And you give a little minute and a half stand up, talk about what you do, what services you offer, and the other people in the meeting will try to find clients for you, and you try to find clients for them for whatever business that they're in. They might be a hairdresser, they might be pest control, they might be a construction work business. Well, they might be a scan disc by the hour. International man of defrag in DOS days. Oh, I caught up with chat. Right? I'm caught up. So what's going on with the computer over here? It's going back to Chris's computer. It still says pending. Check URL trust. I already clicked that check button, didn't I? All right, application guard. Now, we still don't have application guard on this menu where they said
it's supposed to be on the 3-dot menu. There's supposed to be a open new application guard window when you have it enabled. It's not there, I assume.
Well, this is interesting. This has a command line down here for a
That's the other tab that's open.
Oh, let's switch to the other screen. But this one was in reference to Zoom.
Yeah, but that's your Zoom that's open. That's where I click the shortcut on the desktop.
Well, this application guard internals, what you're saying, Chris, doesn't explain to me why they're showing us a command line, which looks like for launching.
That's because it's open in the other tab. That link is open in the other tab.
Oh, okay. All right, so if I close that other link, does that, and then refresh this web page. Application guard status, enabled, yes, context host. That's status. Then on the host tab, service status not running. Refresh that. Let's go look at services. Windows key R. Go to the other monitor where the run line is showing, and then services.msc. Enter. And
did you do the OK there?
The OK where?
For the features on and off. You did.
Yes.
You did a restart.
Yeah, we did a restart since
then.
then. It's.
You looked at it again?
Yeah, I did. I looked at it
okay,
again.
Sorry.
Yeah, I looked at it to be sure it was still here. But in services, the name of the service would be looking for, or is it service not running? So it could be something Microsoft Application Guard or Application Guard. So Application Guard container right here. It's not, the service is not running. I'm going to right click on it, see if I can start it. Now it says running. Okay. And go back to the other monitor and refresh this service status. See if it'll tell me if the service is running. Refresh the entire page. The host still says service status not running. Is the service still running? Application guard still says it's running. Go see if the 3-dot menu has anything new on it. I'm guessing no.
You restart Edge.
Restart Edge. I agree with you. I'm going to copy this URL and then close Edge. Edge is closed. Reopening Edge.
Closing.
There's got to be better instructions for this somewhere. Enabled, yes. Go to the host tab. Oh, no, we already had this. Enabled, yes, was already here. On this host tab, service status not running. So apparently this service status is not that service that I just started. There might be more services associated. That's Application Guard Container. Nothing else here says Application Guard. Let's go down to the M's. Press the letter M on the keyboard. That'll get us down to the area of the M's. Make this column wider. Microsoft Application Guard. It's not there. Microsoft Edge Application Guard. No such thing. Microsoft Edge. If I go to the E's for Edge, nothing there for Edge. Let's see. I'm just going to open another tab and try going https://192.168.1.254. Checking the proxy and firewall details. Nothing else to click on there. Checking the proxy and firewall, clicking on that.
So
There's nothing else. Let's go disable all of Windows Defender.
yeah.
let's see where, there it is. Displayed virus and threat protection. Go to manage settings. Real-time protection, turn that off. Cloud delivered protection off. Okay, all you evildoers out there, see if you can get to Chris's computer now. Tamper protection prevents others from tampering with important security features. I'll turn that off. And let's see, is there any? I don't think there's any save button here now. I'll go to firewall. Domain network firewall is on. Private network firewall is on. Public network firewall is on. Well, we are on a private network most likely. I'm going to double check that. Yes, we are on private network as shown right there. And then go back to we're not joined to a domain, so I don't think I need to turn domain firewall off because
No, just the private network.
Just the private network. Okay. So we are about as unprotected as we could possibly get. How are you feeling, Chris?
I'm feeling better.
Oh, there it is. New application guard window showed up in the Microsoft Edge 3 menu. Is that because I turned that stuff off, or was it coincidence that it showed up? I don't know. All right, new application guard window. To protect your device against malware, Microsoft Edge is opening an application guard. This may take a moment. That sounds like it's more protective of an environment.
Well, it's just a virtual environment. It opens. It's like using a virtual machine.
Oh, okay. So maybe it lets us do more there because it is in a virtual environment. So is this the application guard tab? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I'm judging that by this icon on the taskbar. Yeah, because it floats up that pop-up window at the top of it. It only stays up briefly. Right there above the thumbnail. Get back to it again. There. New tab, Microsoft Edge in Application Guard. So we see what the thumbnail shows, and it is this tab. So now we'll try. I'll just go straight 192.168.1.254 without typing in the prefix of HTTPS://. Now here we got this again. Search the web for refuse to connect, connection refused, details. I'm looking to see if there's any way for us to get past it. No. And I'll try putting in the HTTPS prefix. I don't feel very optimistic about this solving it.
Nope.
Search the web for checking. So that was a total bust. But we did experience something new that apparently nobody had experience with before. Create a QR code for this page. Read aloud this page. Application guard. You're browsing an application guard for Microsoft Edge. It keeps your computer safe by creating a separate. So I'm kind of getting a lot closer to the idea of resetting the router to default.
Yeah, but there's a page for Chris's router gateway that had the reset instructions. He said he's done it before though. So I don't know.
I've done it. And I don't think it really reset it. Because all my stuff,
Did you look at that link and see if that's the procedure you followed?
If I would have reset it, my printer wouldn't reconnect with it. Everything else reconnected.
The printer's wireless?
Yep.
Well, that makes sense. You would have had
I would have had to reconnect everything.
Is it a generic wireless name or the wireless SSID? Is it something you created or something that AT&T created? Yeah. So that might be the default for that router.
Well, there's two levels of reset. There's you just tap the reset button. All that really does is reboot the router.
Right.
And there's the reset where you like hold it down for 10 seconds, which should set it back to factory defaults.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
at
doing that too.
the bottom of the page.
Hold the red reset button on the back of the gateway for 15 seconds. The LED power light will turn red. After 15 seconds, it will turn green. You need to see if it does that. What was that, Chris?
I just wondered if you got a confirmation or anything on my week.
Okay, I muted Chris. He's talking to somebody else.
And that's his scanner in the background.
Oh, well, Chris, I muted you. You can unmute yourself. The power LED will turn red. So yeah, so you got to verify all those colors.
Yeah, he's gonna have to do this on his own.
Allow a couple minutes for the gateway to reboot.
I mentioned that
I was just curious if this is what he did
connected by
before.
Wi-Fi. Could
Yes,
that be
agreed.
having any
And
effect
did
on
he
it?
confirm the colors?
Yeah, I've done that.
You've done that, meaning I want to really be specific about what you're saying you did. You held the red reset button for 15 seconds.
I have.
Right? Now, did you verify that the LED turned red and then after 15 seconds it turned green?
Yep.
You
Well,
did verify that.
but let me. I will do it again. But I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah. Now
Try it
let me get a little more specific about this. What it says, hold the reset button for 15 seconds. Before you let go of it, you're expecting to see the LED turn red. So while you're holding the button down, you need to verify that the LED did turn red. After 15 seconds, you're still holding the button, it will turn green. After it turns green, let go of the reset button. So you don't just hold the reset button down for 15 seconds. You use these light signals to give you a clue. So once it turns red, that's like saying, hey, red light, keep your finger on the button. You're waiting till you get a green light before you let go of the reset button. Then allow a couple minutes for the gateway to reboot.
Yeah.
So my impression is you can't swear to that you specifically did watch those colors, right?
I'm willing to try it again because I can't exactly remember. I may have did it wrong. So.
All right. All right. I think we should do that because that's only going to take you a few minutes to accomplish it. Of course, we can't go through that with you. So you can go ahead and close everything I have open, Chris, and go ahead and do the well, let's see. Yeah. It's going to disconnect you from the internet. Whether you do that with your computer shut down or not is irrelevant.
Could we actually let me try that maybe one day today? I'll try it today and we may pick up on this next week. You mind that?
Oh yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, because my dog is bugging me for go out and I got to get him fed and all that.
Okay, I see why. I kind of would like to see the thing resolved, but go ahead and take care of your dog, and then let's see. We're getting close to 2 hours here, so you're going to be away from the computer for how long?
Probably a few minutes.
All right. Well, we'll just you can come back in and say hello when you're back on Zoom, and
yeah, I want. Can you reverse the changes you did? Because I don't remember.
Oh yeah. All right. You want protections, huh?
Alex not trying to get in.
All right. Yeah. Good. I'm glad you asked for that. Thank you. Okay, so here we get back to that. We're on Chris's computer.
Guess all I got to do is turn on firewalls.
And yeah, just the firewalls and the Defender. I think we can leave that Microsoft Edge Defender thing available because that's only going to take effect when you ask for it. Let's see, and here's Windows Defender. Double click that to open it. We'll turn on virus and threat protection. Answer yes to that. Turn on firewall. And let's see, firewall is off. We'll click here to turn it on for private network. So it's on for domain, for private network, and for public network. And go back to virus and threat protection and check to see there that cloud deliver protection is off. You had that on, so we'll turn that on as well. Let's see, ransomware current threats, scan options allowed threats, virus protection. That's tamper protection is turned off. Turn that on. So here it shows no action needed. Check for updates, ransomware protection, quick scan. And the place that I went to turn off originally was, where did I go to do that first? Virus and threat protection. Oh, it was manage settings in here. Yeah, that's where I turned all that stuff off. So all that stuff shows as on. Did services, but those services had to do with that application guard container service. So that doesn't weaken your security. That only gives us the capability of using application guard from within Edge, and I'd rather leave that on. Is that okay with you, Chris?
That's fine.
All right. So I've reversed everything. Does everybody agree that I've reversed all the changes we made?
Yep.
All right.
So I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Chris mentioned earlier his printer's connected through Wi-Fi. Could that be affecting this issue at all?
No.
No, I don't see how.
No, that's not going to prevent us from being able to connect to the configuration of the router.
Okay.
Okay, I can disconnect this login now, can I?
Oh, let me do that from my side. It's a little more graceful way of doing that. Okay, I've disconnected it.
Okay.
Yes, when Doug presses the X, it's gracefully.
If he did it from his side, it would still show as an active connection on my side, but just rebooting or disconnected, something like that. I think. All right, I'm going to go catch up with chat. Scroll up to my last highlighted. There it is. Mortant is back with his beer. If anybody wants to share in that, just reach your hand out. He'll hand you one, I'm sure. Disable antivirus firewall. Try logging into the gateway. So we did try that. Seems like wasting time with application guard. I disagree that it was a waste of time, but it didn't solve the problem. It sounded feasible to me. It's part of Microsoft's security cuts to keep you from downloading improper programs. Well, I don't think that's the case, because if application guard,
suspicious places.
Yeah, it's more like when using application guard, it lets you do something that's more risky while protecting your computer. I don't think you need application guard. I don't think you need that option to make you safe. That's a way to get around the safety that Microsoft has put into place.
And I've seen people do that, and they've regretted it.
Well, with the application guard, or doing it without the application guard?
It's just in general. I've had people who insist on going to sites, and when the system tells them you shouldn't be doing this, they turn off the warnings.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you're like, and I'm sorry, what part of this equation did you not understand?
If you get that, then you load that site in application guard, and you could go there and it won't harm anything on you.
It seems totally unreasonable that we should have to use application guard to get to the programming interface of a router.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying, in Jim's case, where if somebody gets a warning on a site, load that site in application guard, and it won't be harmed.
Yeah, and there's Lawn Dog is saying accessing a route is not something that application guard would block or grant you access to.
Not to mention the fact that you're giving normals way too much credit.
Oh, I know they won't do it. I'm just saying.
Scopio, a hard reset of the router would clear any configuration that may be preventing connection to the router or any malfunctioning that might be preventing. I don't know. Chris didn't say anything about having previously having access to his router.
He said that before, that he had access before.
He has accessed it before. So the question then is, what changes did he make to it?
Yeah, I don't know that.
Maybe hard reset of the router would be best. More specifically, factory reset. At the bottom of this page, let's make sure that one. Yeah, that's the same instruction, isn't it? Yeah.
It's for the base gateway.
What was that, Wintermute? Was that?
It's for his pace. I forget the number gateway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So is that where I originally got that from, or was that same link before? I don't know.
You were looking at it.
Okay. I agree. Reset to default. When you push the physical button on the actual router, I'm talking about the router from your cable company or internet provider. You press and hold that button for 5 or 10 seconds. Everything should return back to normal after reboots. Now, if we're talking about a store-bought router that was put on after your internet motor, that's a different type of reset. Chris says his router is the one provided by his ISP, right? That's what I thought. Store-bought router, that's a different kind of reset. The factory reset is going to, I want to see the specific instructions of that model router, not just the brand name, but the specific model. Have to restart over with the settings. That's what reset does, puts everything back to default. So his printer was on Wi-Fi, I think we were told, so that might be an extra hoop to jump through to get it to connect to the Wi-Fi. Router from your ISP done differently. You don't get to configure all that stuff. You should be able to configure your SSID and your Wi-Fi connection. I don't know what specifically Chris was wanting to change about his router. This whole thing started saying he can't access it. Sam Lazar uses Bitdefender. Doug, this is getting to be a little bit interesting. Oh no, we better stop. Let's also double check when his machine comes back. 30 seconds actually using network connections and not Wi-Fi. Yes, I know he's getting on the internet. Let's just make sure he's using the wired internet. Yeah, we have confirmed that already. Just by virtue of, I saw down here on his notification area, these little icons, we had the computer monitor indicating that's a wired internet. So we know that. AppGuard probably runs Edge in a container, isolated environment. Yeah, I think that's very good description of what's going on there. That's what Application Guard does. It's telling you a warning. I configured an SSID change for a client on an ISP router. Oh yeah, done that many times. Just waiting for my supper to be delivered. Thank you, Ryan, for letting us know that. Okay. All right.
Well, I'll probably catch holy hell for this, but is there any chance and possibility that this program he's using to make his computer think it's running Windows 7 is affecting his connection to the router?
I'd say there is any chance.
There's a slim chance, maybe.
Slim smithering of a chance. Certainly not that was the intent of that program, but it would be kind of an adverse impact, because those kinds of programs, meaning little simple utilities designed to do this or that, are not funded really well for crack team of programming engineers to do it in such a way that it doesn't have an adverse impact. It could be. Greg says no, it just changes the start menus. He put that in all caps, meaning he's really shouting at us. No, it just changes the start menus. I think it's highly unlikely that it's causing a problem. But I wouldn't avoid questioning something that anything unusual about a configuration. I'm up for it, because one of the things about the free pieces of software that are offered on the internet, you never know when there is a evildoer or criminal behind that that's trying to get a backdoor to your computer. And,
I won't go that far, just a bad programmer.
Well, absolutely bad programmer, but they're Trojan horses. That's exactly what they are, is somebody creating a program to be useful or provide some nice feature to people, but they have some hidden code in it that does something that is of ill intent. Ryan, what we're trying to solve today.
The program's a paid program, and I have had it before. I've been able to access it before.
Okay, you have access. You have accessed the programming interface of your router before. What has changed since then? And what did you do when you accessed it?
What you asking now?
Chris, you're telling us that you accessed the router in the past. What did you do when you accessed? What was your reason for accessing? What configuration change did you make?
I wasn't really changing anything. I was just looking in it, just seeing what I could do.
So you've never made any changes to your router. You have accessed it just to poke around and look, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sam Lazar's saying that IE mode might work. That would be an easy thing to try. Now, so Chris, you're back with us now. So did you complete the restart, or are you just back from taking the dog out? Chris, you're muted. Maybe he stepped away.
Did we ascertain whether there is Wi-Fi?
Okay.
Is your Wi-Fi app for the phone, perchance?
I heard from Gary, is there Wi-Fi app for the phone?
To manage the router gateway.
Oh, is there an app for that gateway to manage it from the phone?
They do have that smart home manager that we found the other day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we tried it.
No,
it's actually a website.
We haven't today.
We'd have to have his
but I know
login info.
Zeros, the TP links, a couple others have apps on your phone, you know, your iPhone or your Android. You can manage the network.
We've already looked up the manual for his router. That information should be contained in that manual.
Well, that information actually, that manual wasn't from AT&T.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
But if it was the manual for the router, even when it's not used for AT&T, if it can interact with an app, wouldn't that be a function of the router rather than AT&T's use of the router?
Necessarily.
I don't know. I've never used an app from a phone for managing a router.
Yeah, they have them.
All right.
And especially the Wi-Fi router now. Wi-Fi gateway router says all they want you to use.
Yeah, well, to answer Ryan's question, Chris Garrett is unable to access the programming interface of his router. That's what we're trying to solve. And where we're at right now is Chris was going to do a factory reset of the router. We've tried several other things. Prior to that, I'm not going to recite those things.
He actually got a new router in this week, but it wouldn't work at all.
Chris did?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, hold the boat. Hold the boat.
You have to tell the ISP that you
changed
this is
routers. Not his new
router
router though, Doug. His new router wouldn't even power on, so he hooked up the old one.
Oh, okay. We are still dealing with the router that he has previously accessed.
Yes.
There's been no change of that. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting everybody. I apologize. I thought I identified with Wintermute that this was a gateway router, so it's like a modem router.
It is a router and a modem, DSL modem.
Exactly. So you can't just get a router without that in the equation, correct?
Well, no, you can.
Well,
You can add a downstream router.
Yeah, you could put it in bridge mode, but you got to get to the settings to do that.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah.
It's 22.
Well,
hold the fort.
You can, well, you can do a downstream router where you connect a LAN port from the internet service provider's router to the WAN port of the router that you purchased. Now it's causing an extra hop for your internet communications, but that is a technique that I have used for certain purposes.
Chris, have you come out of the shadow of the moon yet?
I'm back. I'm back.
Okay.
Did you
Chris,
do a hard reset?
I haven't done the reset yet because I would lose the Zoom.
Well, that's fine. It's going to take about 45 seconds. We'll be here.
Well, it'll probably take a few minutes.
It's going to take probably 10 or 15 minutes. It always does.
It could take
Really?
that long.
To reset your router?
It could take that long. Yes.
Wow.
If I unplug it, it will take it a while to come back up.
All right. We'll just find the results from another day.
Hey, Chris, Lawn Dog had a question. Sorry to take over, Ken. Or Doug. Did you try it from another computer or from your phone?
I have tried other computer and from the phone.
So you have an app on your phone. Sorry, Doug, to take over, but you have an app on your phone that runs your router?
I have an Orange.
You have an Orange?
Yep.
Okay, Doug, take back over. It's above my head.
I'm confused.
You can go to the same URL on the phone as on the computer.
That golfer had a pair of it. That doesn't make it a phone.
Okay,
I'm like Hannah Montana. I got a pair computer.
A pair computer.
That's what my niece used to watch Hannah Montana. That's what their computers always showed on that show.
Are you saying you have a computer that is shaped like a pear?
Yep. Their
Yes.
computers, instead of Apple, their computers were called Pear.
Ken, are you coughing now?
Okay. He's on mute because he didn't want to let us hear him laughing. So
No, I'm coughing tomorrow.
No, it is
both of you?
Possibly. I don't know yet. We haven't crossed that bridge.
I'm referring about the golf lesson we had last night. Yeah.
All right. So now it looks like I have an opportunity to go back to chat. Greg Guy, Win Arrow Tweaker does not cause any problems. Been using it for years. I agree. I don't think that it is. The question was, could it? Anything could happen, but highly unlikely. I would not pursue that. Easiest way to rule out a computer issue is using another device. So he has tried accessing the router with his phone and with another computer. Does not work, which supports that getting an accurate reset, factory reset of the router is a plausible solution. And I don't think that he had an accurate reset of the router in his previous attempt. We don't know that for sure because he wasn't watching for the colors of the lights while he was holding down the reset button. And then, oh, you know what? Something else. How about what is being identified as the reset button? Are we sure we have that right? Because it might not be the power button. Hold the reset button on the back of the gateway. So it's red reset button. So Chris, is the reset button red?
Yes, it is.
And then I'm going to go actually see if it doesn't give us a picture of it. Go ahead, Wintermute.
It is important you hold it down long enough because if you don't, it'll just do a reset without, not a factory reset.
Yeah. But I've seen some reset buttons that are really, recessed, and you have to use like a paper
you have
clip.
to use it.
Yeah. Chris, is your reset button pressable with a finger, or do you have to use some kind of a tool to do it?
It's pressable with my finger.
All right. Looking through here to see if it gives us a diagram or an image of the reset button front LED panel. There's a power light. Battery Ethernet. This isn't actually identifying the reset button. So it's a paste 5268 AC. I'm going to Control C, copy that, go to a new tab, paste that, reset button. Hold the red reset button. Now, Chris, you probably know and are confident that I'm wasting time looking for this here because you clearly know that you got the right button, but I'd like to show it to the audience. That's router check, forums, it's forums ATT. Might not find a good picture of it in a reasonable amount of time. Open, 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 restart, reset. Oh, that is exactly it. So I'll bet this video is going to show it. Flipping forward. You were going to show something? There we go. There it is. All right. So is that your reset button, Chris? Oh, Chris. Chris.
Yes, I'm sorry, I was muted. That is it.
That is what your red reset button looks like. Yep, and that's clearly pressable by finger. Now, if you press that with your finger and hold it down for the amount of time specified and you don't see the lights change, then get yourself some kind of tool and see if you can press it further. It might have to press below the surface, or you can't do it far enough with your finger. So if you're doing it far enough, you should see those light patterns change the way we discussed. All right.
Are the light patterns on the front of this machine?
Doug, what did you just type in Google? Because I'm gonna also look that up.
Oh, sure. I'll put. Yeah, this is a YouTube video. I'll put that link into chat.
Yeah, but what did you type in Google?
Oh, in Google, I did here, I think. No.
Page, whatever my model number is. And
yeah, I took your model number. It looks like oh, it's right. No, that's not it. It must be on this YouTube page. I'll do the back button. That'll take me to the search. Yeah. Paste 5268 AC reset button is what I typed into Google, and then scrolled down. Those other websites didn't help. I went down far enough to get to the videos. So it was this 1 minute, 3 second video.
Put a link to the full manual. It has a block diagram of the buttons and stuff.
All right, but it shows the same thing that we've just showed on the video, right? All right. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go to that. I'm going to try to catch up with other people's chat comments, and I bet I lost my highlight, didn't I? Yep. Just changes the start menus. What are the problem we're trying to solve? Never change anything.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
That manuals, LIV site, whatever, you have to be careful on that site because I clicked something one day on that site and it took me one of those scam pages.
Use an ad blocker.
I've had
yeah, it depends upon what he clicked on that page. Now, what page is it that you were saying? Is it something that's somebody put into chat? Or what?
Yes, my link.
I've had that happen before, but the other day I clicked one and it did the same thing. I've had it happen before in the past too.
Okay, well, you can get those scam websites off of any, such as I'll go over here at msn.com. Anything that you go to a website that is not actually from that website that you're accessing it could be compromised. Because
They rent ad space to ad networks, and ad networks can be used by anybody. I mean,
oh yeah,
they'll
yeah.
take money from anyone to put an ad in there.
But if somebody puts an ad through an ad network, that and when you click on that ad, it takes you to the advertiser's website. The advertiser's website may be totally legitimate, but their website may have been compromised such that you get one of those fake virus things.
I was just talking about malvertising is what they call it.
Malvertising is a good word.
I could have called them and messed with them, but I said, no, I've done that before.
All right, let me move on here and catch up with chat. We're hoping maybe we can find another device to connect to the Wi-Fi. Yeah, so we have done that. Chris has done that. Netgear router. If you do not use the Netgear Orbi router, then you cannot use the router. Tony, hold the fort. I don't know. What's Tony referring to there? Morton, run this app to get the router information. Soft. We already have the router information. I don't think there's anything more we need. Whoops, that one doesn't work. Let me try, instead of right click a new tab, go straight to it. Nope, that don't work. I don't. Oh, I bet that he didn't get the whole thing pasted. Yeah, .html at the end of that. That's not right. There's no file name for that. Lawn Dog, I just tried from my cell phone within Google browser I'm assuming he tried to connect to his router. And from the browser from my phone, the Google browser, I was able to access my Sun Knowledge router. That's the voice dictation. I was able to access my router, whatever missing words there. It's all right. It will give you the IP address of the router. Well, we get that from ipconfig. Why would we need to use some other utility to get the IP address of the router? ipconfig does that. It's built into Windows. Not sure what he's getting at there. If Chris hasn't done it yet, it's worth checking IE mode. Oh, sure. Why don't we try that before we give up on today's live stream? Doug, sometimes find it a little frustrating to stay current with the conversation working through the chat room. Well, you and me both, Lawn Dog. Maybe one day I will call you through Zoom, but voice only. Well, that's okay. You can do that. Send me an email at the email address you know for me, and ask for the Zoom credentials. Arnold, if he has received a new gateway and not set it up, it is possible the new gateway is configured to work already and the ISP has disabled the old gateway. I highly doubt that, but not a bad question. Late arrival, glad to be here. Welcome, Dave Hall. Good to see you. Wintermute, this is another manual you provided, right? I bet I'm way behind there. Connect. Oh yeah, that shows the reset, the red reset button there. All right. Live Windows Training. Oh, that's mine. That's me putting that in. Who's that? Who's that in yellow talking to me? I don't know.
I think you've been on long enough.
You think I'm getting a real loopy now?
You're getting a little loopy, I think. Yes.
Yeah, you're recognizing that well. There is one outside chance that this router could be broken. These routers that you get from ISP could be recirculated. Yeah, I think prior to broken, the factory reset will be a substantial possibility. I'm just throwing that out there. I've had routers replaced. That drives a technician crazy. You want to know another possibility? It's crazy.
I was wondering if it might have failed the firmware update or something.
Chris, it's hard to understand you. Are you close to your microphone?
Okay, I'll turn the fan on. It's very hot in here.
I
had a fan on, but I said I was wondering if it might have failed a firmware update.
Failed a firmware update. That's certainly a possibility. If the router failed a firmware update, it might not be operating properly.
They could have done a firmware update that stopped you from beginning into it.
Yes. Yes, the firmware update could be working either direction for us.
It's AT&T providing them.
Yeah, but I paid for it, the router. But I should be able to do what I want to do, but
They have control of it.
Okay. Getting back to the chat. You want to know another possibility is crazy, replace the Ethernet cable between the computer and the router. Yeah, I'm not going to buy that.
No.
He can just surf the internet. That's not a problem.
Yeah, if there were other random things happening, I would go for that. But he's got stable connection to the internet. What's this one? NurseOff Utilities from Mortant. I'll try that in a new tab. Oh, that's that link
It's
that
for
wouldn't work for me
wireless.
earlier. Okay. Wireless network watcher. Oh, so for off of your cell phone, being able to find out what your router IP address is. Okay, I see where you were going with that. But we already know what it is, so we don't need to go down that road. And this is the, oh, he just put me in orange with the same link. There are 8 wires for Ethernet. They are transmit and receive wires, but there's also a possibility of pair wires to contact the router. No, there's 8 wires for gigabit, but 100 base T is only going to use 4 wires. They're the 2 center wires, and then the next 2 wires outside of that, I think it is, or is it 1 and 8? But there's only 4 wires on 100 base T. So with that, you can access the router, and there's not special wires for accessing the router. And no, I can understand where you speculate that, but no, it's not it. I've had cases where I've taken a gigabit Cat6 wires that coming to a Ethernet port, and I want to run 2 computers, and I split the wires up and connect them to the correct pins of the Ethernet jack on the wall and put in the second jack to where I can have 2 computers plugged into it. I can only get 100 megabits per second, but for office workers, that's plenty. They don't need gigabit to their computer if they're not doing massive file transfers.
And if the internet's 100, they're only worried about the server at that point.
Say again, Gary?
Some of the people are here, I'm talking on your show right now, or your stream right now, are talking about 100 meg internet. So if you have 100 net and Ethernet, what are you losing?
Yeah. If you're only getting 100 megabits down on your Ethernet, then you could be doing 100 base T on your Ethernet connection. Is fine.
Unless you're connected to another server. Right?
Yeah, if you're connecting to another computer or a server within your network and wanting to do large file transfers, that's where you might benefit from gigabit in your network, even if your internet speed can't make use of that. Mortant, it will show all the device connected to the router. I do see that, Mortant, and that would be a useful app. It's showing all of the devices connected on your network through a mobile app, and that would be useful to do. And I have used, I've used Wi-Fi detectors in an office to judge how well the Wi-Fi is going. Have I used it to actually? I don't think I've used it to I would typically just connect to the router and be able to see what devices are connected to the network. Now let's see, is this one showing these MAC address network and device in format wireless? Yeah, this is only showing wireless devices. This is a wireless network watcher, so you're not able to see the Ethernet devices that are connected to the router using this. From as much as I've looked at this here. Mortant might know more about that particular app, and I might be wrong, but I suspect that that's just showing wireless devices. I bring a spare Ethernet cable just to check customers' cable. You're excellent on the research. Good to have you on the team. From Lawn Dog to Wintermute. Thank you for that recognition. Lawn Dog for Wintermute. Yes, Doug, I suggest a firmware update could have screwed this thing up. And I did that an hour ago. That's why I need to do a hard reset. So he did a firmware update on his own. Ken Stout to Chris. Just a thought. Glad to be here. I think it's a great amount of contribution to this channel. Saves me several steps. That again from Lawn Dog to Wintermute. And I agree with that compliment. Just like I make a wild suggestion about the Ethernet cable. Wild suggestions are welcome too. Don't stop doing that. I use the terminology wild, and it's the only possible thing to check because in my life experience, I've had cables do weird. Oh, I'll tell you, I have had weird symptoms become fixed by something that seems totally unrelated. And many of those times, after I discover what the solution is by following some wild, crazy, unlikely idea, and finding the solution that works, then I can backtrace that and come up with a plausible explanation of why that weird thing saved the day and solved the problem. At the moment, I'm looking up what each wire does in the 8 wires for an Ethernet connection. That's good exercise. I've used to have them better memorized than I do now, but I can still picture the chart in my mind. I have 100 megabits down with my ISP. I do have an unRAID server. Okay, a server that doesn't have a RAID configuration. I guess that's what he's saying. From Sam. Personally, in my own home system, I had an Ethernet cable go bad. I've got a box upstairs with some bad Ethernet cables that I can show during a live stream or a video, defective cables. The wire never gets moved or bothered, yet it was intermittent. Absolutely. I had a client, and in fact, I did tell, I think in Tech Tales, I told the story of a client who had Ethernet wires that went up into the false ceiling, the drop ceiling, wires running up there, and then they had those splice connectors, those
the coupler or something in there, yeah.
Couplers. Yeah, they had couplers up there, and then another length, and a coupler, another length. It turned out the bad connection was up there, and I think there might have even been a case where one of those segments of Ethernet cable only had 4 conductors connected, so that dropped the connection down to 100 megabits per second, whereas on each end the cables were showing that they were gigabit capability. They had all 8 connectors.
Jim, could you check chat? Zoom chat? Thanks.
So let's see. I still have it. It's blue. Oh, the wire. Mortant, that's a Windows app. That's a Windows app.
Yeah, the one he linked to, the wireless.
This wireless network watcher.
Yeah, it's Windows only.
Oh, it's not. It was not a cell phone app. Oh, I should have recognized that by this application window from Nursoft.
That's
Oh, so it's showing wireless network watcher. Wireless network watcher, specifically for watching wireless network. For every computer or device that is connected to your network, following information is displayed. Now that says for every computer, but it's called wireless network watcher. Every computer that's connected to your network. That seems like a conflict of terms. Is it this utility can only scan a wireless network that you're currently connected to? Cannot scan other wireless networks, okay? So does your computer have to be connected to that network by Wi-Fi? All right, that's a scroll to run that down. I'll move on. Oh boy, in Ontario we have big teachers strike. It's just madness now. Ryan, $2 Canadian. Thank you, Ryan. Very kind of you. Another great Saturday video, Doug and chat. Let's see, that's Zavita Manor. Who did we have?
Doug.
Alex Cheek is there.
I can answer that question for you. The answer is no. All those tools scan the whole network, wired and wireless devices included.
Okay, so why is it called a wireless network scanner?
He does have some tools that only look at Wi-Fi, though, Alex. Some, but yes, he does have the others.
Oh, Nursoft has other tools.
Yes.
Okay, but this one that we were looking at says that it's specifically Wi-Fi. Are you, Alex? Are you denying that that is specifically Wi-Fi?
I am denying that. I'm saying that is wording they put on there to make people download it because Wi-Fi, as we all know, the term Wi-Fi has become synonymous with internet, and so even if people have internet, regardless of whether it is a wired or wireless connection, they call it Wi-Fi a lot of the time.
Look at the fourth thing under system requirements and limitations. It says it works for wired as well.
I've heard people call it their cellular connection Wi-Fi.
Wintermute, where is that you're describing?
Fourth thing, 2 down from where you're highlighted.
Although this utility is officially designed for wireless networks, you can also use it to scan a small wired network. That's still weird.
Yeah.
Why a small wired network? All right, I'll concede to Alex saying that I guess he's saying he's personally familiar with this utility.
Actually, he's actually worked for me as a consultant because he is a hardware. He's in the bowels of the system. He's a good guy. We've hired him.
You've hired Alex?
No, Nursoft.
Nursoft. Oh, Nursoft.
No, Software.
I wish you would have hired me.
No, he wants somebody that knows the internals. He can get down to the how layer of the system.
Well, okay, you're testifying to the capabilities of this person that's behind this. Okay.
Yes. He's not an application guy. He's an underneath the system guy.
Okay. My question was about this utility, not about the author of it.
No, I know, but if it's good, it's good.
All right. I know the name Nursoft, and I don't know his individual name behind it, but I know that's a well respected name. All right, moving on. Oh, Sam Lazar says Unraid is a Linux server. All right, so that's what he meant with the term Unraid. It's an actual name of a Linux server. Understood? Sounds like the 4-pin connector was traditional phone line hookup and used as Ethernet cable. Not good. No. Phone cable was Ethernet. The 4-conductor Ethernet still had to be twisted pair. It was not really functional using phone line, although I did come across some installations where they used phone line. 4-pin connector that doesn't have the same construction in the wire is not the same as a 4-conductor Ethernet. Morton, I shows Wi-Fi and router information. Jeff, what was that about?
So make a comment about 100 meg versus gigabit internet or connections between computers. The school, the college, of course had gigabit internet, and everything was connected on gigabit. Well, when occasionally we'd have problems with wires between certain Ethernet wires between computers, and they would only be connecting at 100 meg when they should be connecting at a gig, and that would cause issues with them connecting to the Active Directory and being able to pull the image, being able to pull the Windows image down that I had on the server when I was trying to image computers.
All right.
So I had to make sure that every computer was basically at a gigabit.
Sure.
Or it wouldn't work.
Sure. And that's the comment that I made earlier about you wouldn't really notice it until you're trying to do large file transfers, and that's what you were trying to do. The end users perhaps would have been functioning just fine on 100 megabit. Do you agree with that, Alex?
Yes.
All
But
right.
even in my case where I have less than 100 meg of internet connection, I would still want to be connected at a gig. Between
Oh yeah, I agree. If you have 1 gigabit, I'd want it all to be functioning properly. And I've come across situations where a computer that should be communicating at 100 gigabit is only running at 100 gigabit. And when I go look at the equipment, everything that's attaching, it is all gigabit capable and qualified, but there's a connector somewhere. It could be an Ethernet outlet, or it could be an Ethernet plug on a wire that is not getting a good connection, and the computer is downgrading the connection to 100 megabytes because it's not getting a consistent 1 gigabit connection. And so then that can get difficult to troubleshoot, particularly if it becomes intermittent, because I've had times where I've removed an Ethernet cable, replaced it with another Ethernet cable. Now I'm up to 1 gigabit. So then I take that cable out and put back the original one, and I'm at 1 gigabit. Because just disconnecting and reconnecting the cable was enough to get that bad cable back up to gigabit speeds for a while.
that was definitely the pain in the neck of doing all this networking stuff at college. What took so long was trying to figure out where all the cables are going, if it was all connecting properly at the proper speeds, getting the proper equipment installed to be able to finding the equipment that could all connect to the gigabit that they had that the IT department had just laying around in the closet somewhere that they wasn't using.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to try to finish out chat here and then wind this down, because as Jim observed, I'm
getting a little punchy.
What about it? Let's see. Okay, I've used it plenty of times. Okay, that app. And let me make it clear. I stand corrected about that app, because of Mortant and Alex and I think Gary also all saying that it works with Ethernet, even though that website has a mix of information. It sounds like that maybe the wire is a 4-pin wire connection, like using a telephone system, but that's something to look into. If it bothers you, 100 megabits should be generally sufficient for one device. Making sure it scans both. I think of things like back in the XP days, 100 megabits was common. Oh, sure. Oh, 10 megabits for that. Is somebody starting to snore?
You're boring, Doug. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Well,
thanks, Jim.
That's usually Chris.
Let's see. It scans both speeds. Thank you. It scans both. Small class C. Small referring to class C. All right. Yeah, that can still be pretty big network from my world. When you ping the router's IP address, these are my phone's reminding me of things I'm supposed to be doing now because I'm overtime. When you ping the router's IP address without the T switch at the end, the ping command will send 4 packets of data to the router, and you will receive 4 responses. Yeah, that's the default way that it works. In most cases, this is enough to show whether the problem is between the router and the PC. Okay, the above statement is about painting an actual router. Pinging. And the above statement is about pinging an actual router. Got it. Apparently, you need to enter in a switch when you do a ping to a router. -T. No, I don't buy that at all. I've done plenty of pings to a router, and we pinged Chris's router successfully. That switches for constant pinging. It doesn't matter if, oh, okay, so the -T makes it just keep going with the pings until you Control-C to stop it. All right, I'll buy that.
Which is the continuous ping is the default if you're using a Linux system.
Oh, all right.
By default, Linux will automatically continuously. You don't have to think about it.
All right. Lawn Dog, okay, I think I'm getting burnt out. I'm burning up too much sugar in the brain. Me too. Zivi, multi-pool app for network. Okay, take a quick look there because I'll probably come back and look at that later. Wireless network watcher is highlighted there. This is a bunch of tools from NurseSoft. Multi-pool app. Something here called multi-pool app. Is that what he's trying to guide me to? Or is he trying to guide me to this, calling it a multi-pool app? If I search the word multi, yeah, I've got 4 hits for the word multi. Ping info view, fast resulter, multi-threaded. Multi-pool app for network by Nurse.
Gary, the second link is the one you should pay attention to.
Yeah, like I said, it's $100, so who cares?
Yeah.
Good deal, $100.
Oh yeah.
Kid, like I think it's 13 or 12.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Doug.
Sorry.
Okay. Continuing. That was their own
Thanks.
conversation, I think, between their Zoom chat. This is an easy fix, more sugar. Check your numbers. Oh man, I have to tell you about last night. Oh, that sounds like something I don't want to get into. I have a 1 gigabit internet speed, supposed to, kind of so bad, but I did get to some degree. I wasn't really severe. I'm not really comprehending all of that, but Lawn Dog said he wanted to wind this down anyway. More time. The program picks up my second router, which has Wi-Fi disabled. The program. So I'm guessing that Mortant was, I think, the one started telling us about the NurseSoft. Picks up his second router. So it picks up more than just the Wi-Fi, I guess the point there. Found a link to ATT Smart Home Manager for managing gateway via web or app. Does require an AT&T login. All right, that's from Wintermute. Just go bring that up on the screen. Not going to spend time on it.
Chris can figure out what his AT&T login is. He could try that.
It's not doing it. I'm on Zoom. I'm on not Zoom, but I'm on Facebook Messenger with Ken. I just sent him a message about that. I'm not able. It says the wrong username or password, and I am using the one that I log into my AT&T account with. And I can't log into the smart app. It says wrong password or username. I don't know.
Have you tried deleting the app and then trying it, Chris, and see what happens?
I just
installed on the app or on the web?
The smart app. I also can but I can log into the web. I can't log into my account because I mostly use my account anyway for the computer. I never use the smart app. I pay my bill. That's how I pay my bill. I don't use auto pay or nothing because I don't trust.
Yeah, it should be the same login as you use to pay the bills.
I would think.
It's weird.
I manually pay my AT&T bill. I don't use auto pay because they overcharged me before. I don't trust them.
See, so maybe probably got down to 40, usually about where the profuse sweating starts. Okay, I didn't do all of Lawn Dog's talk up there. We have one more thing we want to try on Chris's router, although I'm not connected anymore. It sounds more and more like the router needs to be replaced. Not until after a good factory reset. The thing that I said we would try would be the Microsoft Edge and Internet Explorer mode. Is that okay, Chris? You can do thumbs up or thumb down. Do you want to reestablish the connection to do that, or
I can try that. I can try that.
Okay, you know how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll leave that to you then. And I want to go ahead and shut down because I need to move on and get some other things accomplished in my day. So I'm going to bring Zoom back up and ask you all to...
Doug, you can tell us you got to get ready for Fortnite tonight. It's okay. We understand.
It's a rough crowd.
Yeah.
Tough crowd.
You get no respect.
Oh,
No respect.
I'll be the first one that gets kicked out, by the way.
Oh, there's an idea.
No, that'd be me. If Ken was in charge.
There he goes. Since he suggested it.
Yeah, he
right?
opened himself up for that one. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Put him in a
Yeah,
way.
he did. All right, so I'll ask you guys to say goodbye to the audience. Zoom.
Goodbye,
Gracie.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Gracie. How are you?
Shutting down Zoom. Goodbye.
Good
Thanks
night,
for
Gracie.
hanging out. There you go. There be gone. And then bring this back up. There's the email address. If you want to send me a request for a show topic or a request to help you with something, either during a live stream or during a private session where I record it and then can upload it later, that would be the email address to use for that. And Ken Stout in chat says priceless. I'm going to document that. Here we go. Let's go document that. He actually says priceless for him getting kicked out to the waiting room, which is something that he frequently does to participants on his show. Now, for those of you who've been giving me a little bit of harassment about Fortnite, guess what I have set up for the auto redirect after I click to end the stream? After, of course, saying, I hope that's been useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.